Alright guys, so this is going to be the answer key video of me walking through all the constructions from review day 1. So what's in this packet is equilateral triangles, isosceles triangles, copying an angle, and constructing parallel lines. Okay, so I'm going to look through these questions. I'm going to move at my own pace with this just because it's a video. You guys can pause it and rewind it anytime you need to. So if I'm going fast, I'm sorry, but I just want to make sure that this video is a short video for you guys, and then like I said, you can pause it and rewind it whenever you need. Okay, so let's take a look at the first type of construction. We've got equilateral triangles. So this one, again, I had the steps at the top here to help you walk through this specific question. So as long as you're okay with these movements, you should be fine, but these rules are specifically like for this question here. But again, the variables may be different when you're working with a different question. Just follow the same movements. So in this example here, we have in the following diagram, triangle ABC is equilateral. Using a compass and a straight edge, construct triangle XYZ such that the two triangles are congruent to each other. So something that's really important here is that we need to make sure that the vertices are matching up correctly. So if I have triangle ABC is congruent to triangle XYZ, if I have A, B, C, A should map to X, B should map to Y, and C should map to Z. So if I'm looking at what I have here, I'm going to just start by, in this blank space, I'm going to take my ruler and I'm just going to make a straight line, make it exaggerated. It's okay if it's super long, rather it be long than short. So I'm going to just start by making this point here an end point. And if A is the starting point here, then A should map to X. So I'm going to label this point down here X. Okay. Try and make this a little bit closer. Okay. So if this is X, that means that over here somewhere I'm going to have B should map to Y. So Y should be somewhere over here. So I'm going to take my compass and I'm going to stretch it to be the width of AB. So I'm going to take the point at A, or you can put the point at B, it doesn't matter. And just stretch your compass to be the width of AB, just like that. Okay, so I have my compass width right here, and I'm going to just shift it over and now place the point of my compass at X, and I'm going to make a little arc on this line here so that now I know where that intersection point is. That's Y. Okay, so we have AB here, that's XY. I just need to figure out where Z is up here, and because this is an equilateral triangle, I am just going to use the length of either AC, or actually they should all be the same width, but you can just double check with your compass if you'd like. You see it here, all three sides are the same length, so you can keep the stretch of XY exactly how it is. And what I suggest doing is making an arc above right there, and then just swap and place the point of your compass on Y this time and make another arc. Where these two arcs intersect, you're just going to see this as a point, and that should be Z. And now we have Z, but we need to see the triangle, so you're going to connect X to Z and Y to Z. And then you'll have your equilateral triangle here. Okay, simple. All right, and we only had to do the arc marks up here just to go over that. Usually I'll tell you guys when we're doing the perpendicular lines, we do one above and below the line that we're working with. Here, just because we have it up at this one spot here, I just did it just above. So that's fine, because we were just trying to locate point Z. Okay. So let's take a look now. This was extra practice questions, so that should be fine for you guys. I'm going to just leave that alone. Looking at isosceles triangles, again, I have the steps here on top that work with this question specifically right below. So again, the variables in these steps that are here may be different when you're working with a different triangle. So if we're trying to make an isosceles triangle here, right here for this example, we have triangle MNP shown below is isosceles. We see that here that these two sides are marked congruent. We're told to construct and label triangle QRS such that the two triangles are congruent to each other, and then use point Q on the line segment shown in your construction as like a starting point, essentially, and then we're going to leave all the construction marks. So again, always leave your construction marks no matter what it is. If you mess up and you're redoing it, then that's the only time that you should be erasing it. You don't erase it to make it look pretty. Leave all the construction marks, even if it looks like there's a lot going on. So let's see. If I have triangle QRS, we know that should map up to M and P. So if I am trying to make this isosceles triangle pop up over here to be QRS, M is over here, and M maps to Q. So these are our starting points essentially for the two triangles. What I'm going to do is, just like we did for the equilateral triangle, I'm going to take my compass and stretch it to be the width of MP. So let's do that to start with. All right, there we go. So there's MP, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to now place the point of my compass on Q, and I'm going to just make an arc on this line again so that we can find the next point, which if M maps to Q, then P should map to S. So that means that this point here should be S. So we have QS to start with. Okay. So I found S, and it doesn't matter which side, either MN or PN, but I need to just stretch my compass to be the length of one of them. So I'm going to just make it the width of PN. It doesn't matter, again, because these two sides here are the same length. Okay, so I have it the width of that, and now I'm going to just, doesn't matter if you start at Q or S, you need the two arcs just like we did for the equilateral triangle. So I'm going to place that there, make an arc, then place the point on S, make another arc. We found the intersection point, so if we have QS, that means that if this is N up here, that means that, oh, sorry, didn't realize this was that. Okay. If this is N over here, N maps up to R, so this point should be R. And then now you can just connect Q and S to R. And then you have your isosceles triangle QRS. So here we go. 1, 2. Boom. There you go. Those are the two sides that are congruent. Okay. So that's what the not the equilateral, the isosceles triangles look like. Okay. And all those steps, like I said, we're up here, and you have some practice questions here that you guys can try that on the other side of the page. But I am actually going to scoot this back up. So now we're going to take a look at congruent angles. So we do have the steps up here. Again, the goal, construct an angle that's congruent to the given angle. We have all those steps written out here, but I'm going to walk you through it again. So if we're trying it out on these two angles here, we don't have anything to start with, so you've got to create something. Just like we did with the two triangles, you'll always start with a point that's off, or a line off to the side. And I always make my endpoint over here. Okay. So it says, given each angle, construct a congruent angle. I'm going to just, let's label this guy P prime. Right? And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my compass, and I'm going to start by placing the point of it on P here. And I'm actually going to make this a lot smaller for a second. Because what I want to do is I want to make this small enough that I can make an arc that will cross over both sides of the angle like that. Then you're going to take the point of your compass and place it on P prime and do exactly the same thing. Okay, so you have an arc like that. Make it a little bigger than the one that you did first, because we need more room to work with here. And then what you're going to do is you're going to stretch your compass to be the width of the angle here. That's pretty much finding the measure of that angle without the protractor. So let's do this. Good. Right, so there's the width of my angle, and I'm going to take the point of my compass and place it on this spot here and make an arc. Doesn't have to be big, it could be a tiny one. And just where they cross, you're going to make a point, and now you can connect P prime through that point and just extend it out a little bit further. So, there is the copy of the angle. Okay, so that's how you would copy an angle. I'm going to leave exercise 2, and I'm going to take a look at a line parallel through a given point. So again, all the steps are at the top of this page, and down here, we're going to practice that. So we've got, I'm going to look at number 1. I'll leave number 2 for you guys to practice on your own if you didn't already. So with number 1, if we're trying to do a line that's parallel through this specific point here, I'm going to just make a point anywhere on that line and that we're given and connect N through that, but I'm going to make it like an exaggerated line here, like make it long. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're pretty much copying an angle again. So copying an angle and working with and creating parallel lines are very similar, same processes almost. You just have this extra line here. So we're going to place the point of our compass on that point that we made on the line, where this line we created goes through it. Place the point of your compass there. Make sure it's a little less than N. It shouldn't be bigger than N. It might make it a little complicated down the line. And then just make an arc that crosses over both pieces here. Once you have that, keep your compass stretched exactly the same and place the point of it on N now and make an arc that crosses over that line we created, and that kind of comes down a little bit farther into essentially this little angle here that we made. Then the next step, just like copying an angle, you're going to take your compass and make it the width of that angle there. So there's the width of my angle. And you're going to take the point of your compass and place it on this point here. So you might have to flip your compass around, but once you do that, you'll make another arc that crosses over the one you just drew. And where you see them intersect, make a point. And then you're just going to take your compass, not your compass, your ruler, and connect through that. Just moved it. And that's your parallel line. All right, and then that is it for this constructions review day 1. Okay, I'll have my answer key posted on Google Classroom for you guys too.